Hey guys, welcome back to Hawk Talk. So today, Santosh and I are going to be doing a Seahawks versus Ram Week 15 game preview. So to get right started, let's go into the injury report for this game, which is quite lengthy, I'll say. I'm not going to name every single player because there's 16 players for the Seahawks. But yeah, I'll just name a few big name players. Gabe Jackson is on it, along with DK Metcalf, Quandre Diggs, Al Woods, Alex Collins, Travis Homer, Brian Mene. Just like I think most of them will play this game. Just because it's later in the season, so you expect most of the players to have like some kind of injury, but they're tough and they'll play through it. But one huge injury for the Seahawks is Tyler Lockett. It's not really an injury, but he tested positive for COVID. So I think, uh, yeah, his decision for the game will be a game day decision, and we'll have to see if he plays or not in the game. But moving on to the Rams,
Pretty sure
Brian,
I'll just interrupt you right there. Pretty
yeah,
sure Tyler Lockett is not going to be activated for this game.
yeah, I also agree with that, which is very unfortunate because he is the Seahawks' number one receiver this season, I would say. But for the Rams, Brian Allen, their offensive line, is with a knee injury, along with Aaron Donald, huge injury with a knee injury, and Greg Gaines. But I think Greg Gaines is also a defensive line, but I think Aaron Donald at least will play just because it's probably like something pretty small. They also rested him throughout the week, I know, and with the game being delayed to Tuesday, it is I do expect him to play in this game. So yeah, Santosh will take us through the a couple of key matchups that we're looking forward to seeing in this game.
Yeah, so when I look at key matchups, I look at three key matchups. For me, I think we have to start with Matt Stafford against the Seahawks secondary and how Ken Norton schemes up how to stop the big plays that they have. And and we basically have to limit however we can limit Cooper Cup, right? That's their number one option. And if we can limit Cooper Cup, I think, and force them to rely on other options like Van Jefferson. They have other receivers like OBJ, Van Jefferson, but Cooper Cup is the main guy. And once you take away Cooper Cup, which is hard to do in the first place, but if you do that, it becomes a lot easier for you as a defense to control the game, right? So I think that's one thing. And then Seahawks O line versus the Rams D line. We've been seeing this for the past few years now. Russ has struggled against this Rams D line mainly because of poor O line play, uh, and it's just been the same story every year. So I mean, if we play a bit better today, I mean, we'll see, right? But I expect the Rams D line to get pressure on Russell Wilson, and then Russell Wilson against the Rams secondary. So this is big. Jalen Ramsey's coming back. He's being as I look at the sources that say that Jalen Ramsey is likely to be activated and is on track to play. So yeah, that'll be big. Russ just needs to get the ball out faster, and I think that when you have Jalen Ramsey in the game, that becomes a lot harder because he takes away one side of the field. So you always have to look at the other side. That being said, without Lockett, I think this game um, it'll be harder to run the offense because they're just going to shadow Metcalf wherever he goes. Just put Ramsey on him and double DK, and our our receiving core is kind of done, right? Unless Eskridge and Swain step up. Um, but yeah, and that'll be important with Penny trying to get going in the running game.
Yeah,
So we'll see how the offense works through DK and Penny.
I do agree with that. I think um, I really, I mean, this entire season's been a struggle to get DK and Tyler going for the at the same time. Now that Tyler Lockett probably most likely will not be playing, it's it's really important that DK Metcalf gets open. And I think this is not as much DK Metcalf running his routes, but as much as Shane Waldron. I think this is probably like you're gonna see. Shane Waldron at his best or at his worst this game, because he has to come up with plays that get DK Metcalf open. Because we know, I mean, let's be honest, Jalen Ramsey versus DK Metcalf, history shows that Jalen Ramsey wins that battle most of the time. So Shane Waldron really has to be able to step up his game as an offensive coordinator and scheme DK Metcalf open. We know DK Metcalf will get a couple catches, but the Rams secondary needs to make sure that they tackle him on the spot, because DK Metcalf, he breaks one tackle. If he breaks two tackles, then you can kiss him goodbye. It's a huge play. If he just breaks two tackles, that's all he needs to get going. And the momentum is a huge thing for DK, I think, because if he starts getting going in a game, one consecutive catch, two consecutive catches, and if he starts getting catches over and over again, it's really going to boost his morale, because we know he has a big confidence level. So I think for the Seahawks, it's just getting.
Nice way to say ego.
I mean, I love DK, but yeah, he does have big ego. So I think the Seahawks need to try to get DK Metcalf going as soon as possible, and the Rams need to shut down DK Metcalf as soon as possible. So this game, to me, it's just going to come down to who's a better coach. Because, obviously injuries are not in favor of the Seahawks, which means the Rams do have the upper hand this game. But this is just a coaching game to me. Like, there are some games in the NFL each season that are just who is the better coach in this situation. And I think today will prove who is the better coach at this time.
Interesting. That's an interesting point. And I think that when you look at what you talked about, Shane Waldron, but even it's tough, right? Because there's so much talent in the Rams secondary, and they only have one focus point this game, which is DK Metcalf, right? Whereas if Lockett was there, you take away one guy, but the other guy's still going to get open. You can't double two guys on the field. It's not like a Super Bowl situation where the Bucks just doubled both Hill and Kelsey, so they had 4 players on defense working on just Hill and Kelsey. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they can't really do that with Lockett and DK, because most of the time they move around and they line them up wide, they line them up in the bunch, slot, whatever, right? So now you only really have DK, and when you only have DK, you can easily double. He's already getting doubled, but now he's going to be now he can have like a double team on him, watching him all the time, and
Yeah.
Ramsey's going to be shadowing him the whole game, so it's going to be hard to get the offense going. I think Shane Waldron's going to try, but I'd like to see Eskridge get involved more. I think this is the game that if you want to get Eskridge involved more, this is the game.
Yeah, I think DK Metcalf. If I was the Rams personally, what I would do, I would get Jalen Ramsey. If it's man coverage, I'd get him 4 to 5 yards off the line of scrimmage in case it's a comeback route or something. Because we know Jalen Ramsey can step up and make a tackle if it's a slant, but I think I would get Jalen Ramsey kind of close to Metcalf, and have a safety, keep a close eye on him. Probably one safety. I think that's just going to be his entire job. Just stay 15 yards behind Metcalf. Make sure nothing goes over the top, because we know DK Metcalf can be.
I think that depends on the package that they run. If they run nickel, they can just bring another corner.
That's true, but I think the other half of that is getting to Russell Wilson, and that's probably going to be a point of emphasis, because Russell Wilson outside of the pocket is deadly. Just for a defense, because no matter how good the defensive backs are, you can't start running around with the receiver for 2 or 3 seconds. And with the speed DK Metcalf has, DK Metcalf just needs to cut off his route, come back towards Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can find him open. But I think another part to that is the other guy stepping up. It's I think Freddie Spain needs to have a Titans level game, against the Titans. Most of that was just Titans blown coverage, but he has to step up. Yeah. But also Dwayne Eskridge has to step up. I think Pete Carroll will definitely feed the ball to Rashad Penny a lot. Seeing his performance in against the Texans, and that also is just a big job for Aaron Donald and the Leonard Floyd, and those guys, to make sure that they get Rashad Penny.
And Von Miller is playing.
Oh yeah, who could forget about exactly. There's so much to this Rams defense that the Seahawks need to account for, and to be honest, I I'm not sure if they can do all of it at once. Even if they do, then you know it's going to be a hard game for the Seahawks to win. I'll just say that right now. The defense needs to play at an extremely high level. Um, we've talked about a lot about the Seahawks offense, but let's switch on over to the Seahawks defense really quick. Seahawks defense needs to play at a high level this game. Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks really need to conduct the defense in a way they haven't before all season. With COVID, hitting the Seahawks really hard this week out of all weeks, um, I think it's just, and it's going to be an insanely hard test for the Seahawks cornerbacks who aren't great. I mean, let's just put it that way. They're not the best. You could definitely get so much better, and to keep Cooper Kupp and OBJ contained is just really, really hard.
Yeah. I mean, that and it's like, how much help are you going to give these cornerbacks with how you have the safeties, right? Because right now the packages that we run, the sets that we run, is solely designed to help our corners. And when you have like Ryan Neal in the box, you can't really do that, right? You're trying to get pressure on Stafford, but at the same time you're trying to help your corners. And when you're trying to do both of those things, it becomes hard to contain their run game, get pressure on Stafford, and at the same time help your corners because they're getting burned outside by Cooper Kupp and OBJ, right? So
Yeah,
that's the big thing. I think I mean Bobby Wagner's always gonna have a great game. Jordan Brooks is gonna have a great game, but that doesn't really matter if we can't figure out a way to get our pass rush going with just the four at the line so that we can help our corners out in the game in the passing game
yeah,
and actually cover blanket the field, right? We can't really do that if we're always trying to get more pressure on him with
yeah.
more than just like our normal four blitz package.
Mhm. I think so. I'm personally, I don't know too much about schemes. I know that's kind of Santosh's thing, but like, I mean, I know a couple things about packages and whatnot, but like, I think the Seahawks, I think what I would do if I was Ken Norton, I don't know if this is going to be a good, because I mean, Ken Norton is probably like best at this because, he knows who's playing and who's not. He sees the guys in practice, but assuming everyone that is playing on the Seahawks defense is at 100%, I'd run a 4-2-5 defense, get four guys at at Stafford, see if they can generate pressure at that. If that's not working, get Jordan Brooks to come in on a blitz, and then Bobby Wagner, you know, Guts, Daryl Henderson, and Tyler Higbee, just in the middle. And then, I mean, if things really don't start to work out with the five guys in coverage, you can get two on, depending on the package. If there's only two receivers, you can get two on Cup, two on OBJ, and have a safety to the top. That's really aggressive, but and at the end of the day, if you're just getting cooked
Maybe not
outside,
two on OBJ. I'd keep two on Cup, one on OBJ, and then have Diggs shadow or
yeah, I think yeah,
not shadow,
because like
but like just have Diggs over the top, and then Amadi on Jefferson.
yeah, and then also Tyler Higbee, we know what he can do. We know he's not too bad at all. He can catch the ball, stiff arm some guys. So Bobby
Yeah,
Wagner should definitely
right.
keep a lookout.
I think that'll be either Brooks or Neal on that assignment.
That's true, and I think Bobby Wagner is just going to be like Bobby Wagner's going to have
Wagner's
a
gonna
tough
be
day.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough day today because we know Brian Winney is on the COVID list. He's probably not going to play. So we want, maybe they're going to blitz Bobby Wagner or whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think overall this is a tough matchup for the Seahawks, but Russell Wilson, you know what he can do. You never know.
What are your score predictions?
This game, I unfortunately have the Seahawks losing and their season ending here, 21-10. I think the Seahawks will get absolutely cooked in the first half. They'll start to come back in the second half, but it's just not going to be enough. And
Well, I have a prediction that I want, and I think I have one that is gonna
yeah,
happen.
me too. The one I want is probably just going to be 21-14 Seahawks win, but the one I think is going to happen is 21-10 Seahawks losing.
It's gonna be. I mean, if we want to keep it competitive, I mean, like, we could say like what, like 28, 20 Seahawks, or like
I mean,
Rams
scoring 20 points against Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. It's just not that easy. It's not that easy.
without luck.
Yeah.
And then I mean, like, it's probably gonna be like Rams 20, Seahawks 10 or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually, one thing I think is gonna happen. I think Rashad Penny's gonna have a. I'm just, this is probably just a bold prediction, but I think Rashad Penny's gonna run for like 70 something yards, average 5.5 per carry. I mean,
Mm.
just
I think he'll
just
get more. I think he should get more touches than that because if
yeah,
it's 5 yards a carry and it's only 70 yards, it's like 10 to 15 touches. So I think
that's
he'll get
true.
around 20,
I
20
think
touches.
I think they'll also try to do a couple things with DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, but I
Yep.
mean, this is kind of a far reach, but I think Rashad Penny will do great against the Rams defensive line, which is really
I mean,
hard
it's
to
not a bad
do.
prediction at all.
Yeah,
It's a
but
hot take, but it's not bad at all.
yeah. So
But
we'll
yeah,
have to see, I guess.
but yeah, that was this episode of Hog Talk Game Previews. We'll be back next week. Let's see, with another episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And
But yeah,
go Hawks.
this before we go, this is actually it. Just if you guys
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
go
already,
ahead.
this is pretty much the season is on the line for the Seahawks at this point. If they lose this game, you can pretty much kiss it goodbye. So make sure to watch, and we'll see you guys next week. Go
Really
Hawks.
cheerful. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know.
Happy
Okay.
holidays, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.